Alright guys, so rocking out Elder Scrolls. A lot of people are wondering what the build is, so I was going to rock out a real quick build vid. So again, name's Duragon Darko. I am running a Magicka Dragon Knight tank. Everything I do supports the group as a true tank. So if you're trying to, if you want a tank, you want to make sure you get gear that supports the rest of the group. So what I do is we've got Turok's pack. That five item decreases the weapon enchantment cooldown, increases potency by 30%. So the one bar is my reduce the weapon damage and spell damage by 540, and then the other bar is reduce the target's physical and spell resistance by 2531 for 5 seconds. So that's almost an always uptick. It is almost always on. At least 80-85% of the time it's always on. So not only is they're doing less damage, but your DPS is doing more damage, right? So again, I've golded everything out, but the head and shoulders are, by choice, whatever you want to do. I use Grothars only because if there's a whole mob of stuff around me, I'll burn them up. You can use Valkyrie if you want. You can use Lord Wardens if you want that extra physical resistance for the people in your group, which is hot. I actually have the shoulders for that to show you Lord Warden's Dusk. And if you see, when you take damage, you have 50% chance to summon a Shadow Orb for 10 seconds that increases the physical spell resistance of you and your allies within 8 meters, which is hot. Happens every 10 seconds. So, haven't gotten the head yet, but... And then, of course, to help the rest of the group out, I am rocking Eben, which not only gives me, but also everyone in the group another 1,000 health. So I rock out the waist and hands, Eben, and then all the jewelry in Eben. So again, I'm Magicka, so I have Magicka recovery. I do have health for the, the healthy, but a neck, I do that reduced cost of bash. Only because with the new, that stamina thing that happened a couple updates ago, you will lose a lot of stamina blocking, especially when you only have about 15k in stamina. So everything else is sturdy. Like I think my feet are sturdy, that's reinforced, but that's sturdy, that's sturdy, that's sturdy. Chest is reinforced, and the head I got in divine. So to be honest, it should be sturdy, but I'm not running that thing to get the head. The random shit is killing me. One thing I do a lot, like let's say your party doesn't need the extra 1,000, I have Rattle Cage, and you do Rattle Cage for waist, hands, and then neck and rings. If let's say you need more survivability, because either the healer is horrible or because you're fighting some shit you've never fought before, you can even do Plague Doctors, which gives you, a nice boost. So long as, like I said, it's all interchangeable with the rest of the shit that I crafted. So you got waist, hands, and then the jewelry, which is either Eben or Plague Doctor, or Rattle Cage, right? One thing that I always do when I'm watching videos is they don't really show any of the numbers or anything. At least they don't. So again, Magicka is 64. I'm a Magicka tank. Right now I'm running 26,000 Magicka. It's 37,000 health and then only 14k in stamina, which is why that sturdy comes into play. You really can block forever if everything's in sturdy and your CPs are pretty done. The Lord, obviously, health. That's my food buff. Vampires, I am a vampire only because I take 25%. I take a 25% less damage when I'm stage 4. So yeah. So I have an armory. So one thing is, if you look at my spell damage, it's 1464. So if I do decide, let's say you need a little bit more DPS, or let's say you want to solo some stuff, because as a tank you solo stuff but you can never do damage, you can rock out the Rattle Cage. And again, the only difference with Rattle Cage is that I add spell damage to it. Let's see where it is up here. No, it's gem. Yeah, there it is. So that's my 5-piece Rattle Cage. Gives you the spell damage, but again, spell damage enchantment. This one down here is another spell damage enchantment with the health, and then the neck is that bash because you're going to be tanking. And then both of these, instead of sturdy, are in divine. So you lose a little bit of that, the stamina cost when you're blocking. But it helps because that Mundus Stone, you gain it in health. So when you look at now, you lost some because of you lose an Ebon, but you still got some back, which is pretty cool. And when you look at the spell power now, spell damage is at 2554, and you're tanking. So your physical resistance is still the same, spell resistance is still the same. And again, you want your let me go back in there. You want your physical resistance 25,000 because as a Dragon Knight, everyone loads spiked armor. So once you do that spiked armor, that brings you to 30, 881, which is still $2,000 away from cap. The cap is about 32, 33. With the Ebon, it's closer to 31. You lose a little bit. So let me go back into here and go back into and put Ebon hands. Ebon. I do have Burning Spell Weave because sometimes I do feel like DPSing. And if you look at my skills, I do have like 300 skill points. So I've actually spec'd out for DPS and tank and heal. All I gotta really do is go into champion points and switch around the champion points. So I do carry around Burning Spell Weave. I do carry around Julianos. Like I do have Julianos set. I do carry that shit around in case I do feel like just DPSing. But for this build, we'll just go straight into tank. So again, you always want to benefit the party. So Ebon, the Turix Pact, which to be honest is really, really good. I used to run Tavas and I thought it was the end all be all, and then once I got introduced to this, you really see the damage that you can do if you have that Crusher enchantment, which again reduces the target, and then the weakening enchantment, which lowers their damage. So you're taking less damage, the mob is taking more damage again, so it's a win-win situation. It really is a good set. It really is a good set. Alright, so champion points. Really quickly, reduce the cost of break free, because as a tank you want to break free, you being stunned, right? So, and you only have, again, you're a Magicka tank, so you don't have a lot of stamina to begin with, so this reduces the cost by 15%. Down here, you've got your Magicka recovery. Obviously, you're a Magicka tank. You don't need any of that other stuff. It's just a waste, to be honest. This tumbling, getting out of the way, 15% less, definitely. And Shadow Ward reduces the cost of block by 23%. So this 20% plus the the sturdy on all the armor, plus the enchantment on that neck piece, really lowers the cost of block to the point where even 15,000 health, or I'm sorry, 15,000 stamina, I can, I mean, every hit I think only costs like 200 or 300. It's insane. I can take a bunch. I can take a beating without losing my stamina for a while. I am Magicka. I am a heal, self-heal tank. So I do have Elfborn. I do have Blessed because I can heal myself, and then this actually does a little bit of extra damage. I'm not DPS, so I don't need spell penetration. I chose this because it gives me an extra 10%, which in essence is how I heal. So I do damage, so that increases my heal as well. This increases the critical strikes for healing, and then this is the 14% by healing. So, and I'll go over that with my skills. In here, I don't have anything. It's just how I play it, And I do have 75 in Thermage, only because, again, that's how I take, that's how I heal. So I mean, this Third Mage, 23.4% coupled with the time over effect of, let's say, like the claw, the flame claw, or whatever that heals me. It's a nice boost. So, Ironclad, obviously, direct damage attacks, hardy, right? Physical poison, disease damage, almost a defender, thick-skinned, and then in here, Bastion. You could do quick recovery if you want to be healed. I do Bastion. I mean, you could do this if you really want to, but not really. You can do Bastion, or you can take this and put it somewhere else. I like increasing the shield's effectiveness. To be honest, when they increase it again, I'm gonna, the champion point max, I'm gonna increase Bastion again because I like, I like raising the effectiveness of my shield to the group. And then the heavy armor focus is 4,300. You can play with this as much as you want. You know, I like to be close to cap, and I like what I'm wearing. Instead of going sturdy, you can do reinforced and then lower this and use this to champion points for anything else. But to be honest, in this, you really don't need the champion points for anything. So you might as well just go with this and then, you know, use the sturdy. And then this way you can block longer. So skills. Again, being a Magicka tank, we'll do the first. This is the main, like, you know, your taunt bar. So you want your pierced armor, and I like this morph simply because you affect them with major breach. So their physical and spell resistance is lowered by 50 to 80 for 12 seconds. So this, coupled with the fact that you go into your inventory again. Let's take a look at your stamina with this. This Crusher enchantment lowers it by 25-31, and again, because your you know, Turig's packed, it reduces the cooldown by 50%. You're almost always going to hit that Crusher enchantment, and you're gonna use a lot of soul gems refilling this and charging this weapon. So that 25-31 stacks with, you know, the taunt 52. So right there, that's, you know, what, almost 8 grand in physical and spell resistance debuff, which helps the DPS burn that down really good. So for that simple fact, sometimes I walk in and, you know, there might be a few things that you got to kill. I'll fucking stab them all, just because you know, the DPS can bring them down that much faster. This is chains, you know, basic chains. I like rocking out chains. I like pulling stuff to me. I don't like the one that pulls me to them. I want the one that pulls them to me, so that I can group them together. For a Dragon Knight, this should be automatic, but I mean, there's so many different skills you could put in here. I like chains. I like chains. I don't think I ever moved that. That stays. Green Dragon's Blood. A lot of people are bummed about the heal. You know, it's not a decent or big enough heal. You know, it's only 37% of your health or whatever it is. So the next skill over is Igneous Shields, and this one, Major Mending, increases your healing down by 25% for 3 seconds. If you hit this and then hit Green Dragon Blood, it increases that 37% by an additional 25%. So what it looks like is you're going to be, you know, you're going to do your shield, and then boom, and then you're going to hit your Green Dragon Blood, and then that will increase that heal, and give you that big heal everybody's looking for. But to be honest, as a tank, I'm not even using it to heal myself. If you read the bottom sentence, healing received by 8% for 23 seconds. So it just helps out the healer, you know. It helps him heal me, especially when I'm getting smacked. So if I know that I'm gonna get smacked, I'll hit that just so that I can get an extra 8% in heals before I get smacked, you know. So it's a really good power. So Igneous Shields, again, that's the basic damage shield. Mine's a little weak at 4 grand, which is why I want the Bastion. This increases with your health. So the more health you get, the higher the shield. So your damage is, you know, 200 additional, but they only get, you know, the damage shield. But that Major Mending, again, it used to be longer, and for that 3 seconds, it's only good for that Green Dragon Blood combo. So, and Volatile Armor, we already know this one. It's a Spike Shield, right? I like Volatile because it does the extra damage. The other one gives you an extra damage shield, but if you're rocking Igneous Shields, which you should because it does the group. Remember, Igneous Shields is for the group, and Volatile Armor is only for you. So I do Volatile Armor, and it gives me the extra, you know, the extra DPS. So, and then the tank bar has the Magma Shell. This is not just an oh shit. Everyone says, oh, this is the oh shit. It is not the oh shit. This is for the entire group, and limits the incoming damage for you, but when activated, nearby allies gain a damage shield for 111% of their max health for 9 seconds. So if they've got 18 grand in health, that's probably about a 20,000 health shield for 9 seconds. That is in preparation for a big red area of effect circle that they can't roll out of, and you smack that so that they can just be alive. That is Valkyrie Scoria at the end when he breaks the platform, and you know that those dudes are going to die because they can't hop out of the way. they'll walk in the lava and not get hurt for 9 seconds with this. I use it for utility. I really do use it to save the party, not me. If you're using it just for an oh shit to save you, you're missing out on how good Magma Shell really is. For the entire group, that is their invulnerability. If you have only, and I've done it many times, you only have 200k on a mob and everybody's low in health and you don't want them to dodge or move, you just want them to kill it, hit that, nobody gets hurt or stunned or whatever, and and the mob goes down. So I love Magma Shell. So that's the tank bar. And so then this is the control bar. I call it the control bar. People will call it DPS bar. I call it the control. I'm old school MMO. So this is all the stuff that I use to control my targets. I am a tank. I control. So heroic slash, I put in here. It reduces their movement speed by 60% for 12 seconds. I love that. The damage is whoop-de-doo, whatever, but also afflicts the enemy with minor maim, reducing their damage down by 15% for that same 12 seconds. On top of that, you get, ultimate. So they're doing less damage with that maim, and they're already doing less damage with that weaken enchantment on the Turig's pact. So the heroic slash is the way to go. So eruption, again, your Magicka. So that Magicka is high, but you have like 26,000 Magicka. I use this. It's not the damage. Again, it reduces their movement speed by 70, keeps them grouped, right? Or from running. Okay. Now I'm gonna skip over Deep Breath and go to Burning Talons. Burning Talons is another one. It has a main morph, right? I think it's Choking Talons. I like the Burning Talons. I like the damage. I also like the fact that your DPS can activate the Impale synergy and smack them for even more damage. I've tried the Choking Talons. Wasn't as big of a deal with the 15% main because you're using this for ads. I mean, if you're going to a boss, then Heroic Slash is what you're going to be using for that minor main. Burning Talons is not what you're going to be using for a boss because it's not going to root him anyway. Again, it's just my opinion. It's just my thing, one of the beauties of the game is you can do what you want to do, but I love the Burning Talons. They do way damage in that 4 seconds or whatever, and holds them. And then that coupled with the eruption, so this way, they won't, after they break free of that hold, they're not moving fast, right? Alright, so Deep Breath. I like this morph because A, I heal once I hit it, right? So as soon as I hit that Deep Breath, anyone around me, I heal from them, right? So, and I don't explode because I didn't do anything, but it's not the heal is huge if you have more mobs. So if you're a single guy, single boss, it's not going to help. But if you're surrounded by like 5 or 7 guys, you hit that and it will heal you for a huge chunk. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing is automatically an enemy that is hit that's casting is interrupted, stunned, and set off balance for 2 seconds. So, DK Dragon Knights, right? DK DPS, right? Your Flame Lash is your end-all be-all. And once I hit that Deep Breath, they will be off balance for 2 seconds, which is more than enough time for you to spam the shit out of, your Flame Lash. And then after you exhale, it blows up, which is pretty cool. It does a little bit of damage, but again, it's mainly for the heal and for the interrupt. There is a boss in one of the trials, I can't remember what it is, but it's like this flame guy, and he throws these flame lobs or whatever, and you have to go and you have to bash him to interrupt him. I can stand in the middle of the room, hit Deep Breath, and all 3 or 4 of them will be interrupted because that is a mass interrupt. Anyone that is around that air that I pull is interrupted. So, arrows, I love that. I interrupt that all the time, any of that, Now, this is also if my interchangeable. So there are times where I don't want to interrupt, I just want to deflect, right? Or just protect, or and I will use my wings, man. So reflects 4 projectiles for 6 seconds. Reflected projectiles deal 35% additional damage to attacker, right? Now if I know that I'm going to be perma blocking, right? Remember, you can interchange, right? So over here I would also do, you gotta have absorb magic. Absorb magic bolster your defenses, absorbing up to, wow, from the next spell projectile, yeah, 20,000. And healing for 70% of your max health. While you have a shield equipped and this ability slotted, the amount of damage you can block is increased by 8%, and the cost of blocking is reduced by 8%. So, for trials, I don't even have the green dragon's blood because it's not necessary, right? You have enough heals. You should have 2 healers. It's not necessary. So I would put an absorb magic in that, and that would be my tank. And you know, for bosses in trials, you know, that would, you know, again, interchangeable. You know, that's one of the reasons you get so many skill points is to, you know, fuck around with the build and do what you want to do, right? So let's go back in here. And go back into deep breath. So the last one on the bar, burning embers. The heal from this is insane. 2560 flame damage and then an additional 9708 over 10 seconds. So that's a total of 11,000, and you're gonna heal 85% of that. So that's about 9 grand, 9,500. A 9,500 heal in 10 seconds. Now the cool thing about it is that you can hit that flame, right? That burning embers. You can hit that once and wait for 2 seconds, and then hit it again, and it will heal you because you're technically stopping the first burning embers DOT and going into the second one, and you'll heal for whatever it ticked for in that 2 seconds. So it'll be 2560 plus an additional, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000, and you'll get a $4,000 heal. You'll get a 4,000 health heal just by hitting those burning embers twice. Pretty cool. And then aggressive horn, aggressive war horn. Gotta do the aggressive war horn. That critical damage done 15% by 9.5. That's, man, DPS love you for that, man. They really do love you for that. That is pretty much it. I mean, you understand all the heavy armor passives. I shouldn't have to go into this. All the heavy armor, and even like the DK, like all these ardent flame passives, like yeah, movement speed, the searing, dragon ice standard, world and ruin. I think it's the earth and heart is the most useful for a tank. Yeah, increases duration of your earth and heart abilities by 20%. So that means that eruption lasts 20% longer. Igneous shield lasts 20% longer. Magna shell lasts 20% longer, right? So then you get battle roar. When you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 52 health, 46 magicka, 46 stamina for each point. Every time you do an ultimate, you know, you get your resources back. Mountain's blessing. You know, when you cast an earth and heart ability, you and your group members within 30 meters gain minor brutality. So you increase the weapon damage by 5% every time you use an earth and heart. So, you know, spamming those shields, igneous shields, is not a bad idea, right? You get 5% extra damage. And then you receive stamina when you hit it too, right? You're also getting stamina when you know. So if you spam those shields, you get the stamina back, right? So, that is pretty much it, guys. I am in, where am I at? This is called Belmora in Morrowind. I got that new tiger. That flame tiger's hot. I'm sorry. That flame tiger is hot. But anyway, so that's the build, man. Any other questions? I mean, you can leave them in the chat. I mean, I went over champion points, went over skills, went over, you know, gear. Gear's important. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, this is mainly for dungeons and stuff, but trials, you definitely need that absorb magic in there. You know, interchangeable. Get as many skill points as you can and start getting interchangeables, you know? Do all your quests, get all your skill points. Like I said, I got 300 skill points, so I even have, like, when you go down to here, I even have like all my blacksmithing, clothing, enchanting, woodworking. Like, I even have all that shit. So alright, guys, well, that's it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I know I only have like 2 subscribers, so thank you very much to the 2 that subscribed. But any feedback, any comments, please leave them below. Let me know how I did. Alright, thanks, guys.